Alex Mordo here. Welcome back to Studio XOXO. In this segment, I am going to take you back to the drugstore to cover contouring. If you have ever wanted to learn how to create a subtle snatch, then this segment is for you. I'm going to be using a drugstore called Classic, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, as well as what I like to call an unsung drugstore hero, the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. When you create this look for yourself at home, make sure you tag me in your pictures, #MamaMordo, and be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and when you're done watching, the share button. You know how to make a girl feel good. Let's get started. My favorite way to do this is to begin with concealer as sort of a liquid cream contour. And the key to this is to use a shade that is cool in tone, because the goal is to create a shadow-like effect. Anything that's in shadow recedes on the face, and that's what I'm trying to do, is essentially create shadow. What works really well for me is the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Deep, and I'm going to begin by applying this to the hollows of my cheek, starting right underneath my cheekbone, working back towards my sideburn. Right in this, if you connect it into your sideburn, then it becomes a very natural, very believable looking, as well as in my forehead, where you have a lot of real estate. Ideally is what I'm looking to do is create a more oval shape to my face. So I'm quite wide through here, so I'm going to just softly narrow this out a little bit, because that's my preference, and sharpen my cheekbones, carve them out a bit more here, as well as in the jawline. I am starting to get these little jiggly bits and bobs right here, so I'm going to use that to create a sharper jawline by causing these little fringes here to recede. So taking that concealer in deep, fish face to see where I'm going. And I'm coming in really directly underneath the bone. I can actually palpate where my cheekbone is, and I am right on it and tucked up underneath it here. My favorite type of brush to begin to blend this in is actually a paddle-shaped foundation brush. I like my brushes to be quite damp for this to blend. I actually had just washed this, so I'm kind of dabbing that out to make sure it's not too wet on a paper towel here. Otherwise, I'd be misting it with that NYX Bear With Me spray, the multitasking spray. All right, but this is gonna work perfect for my purposes. It's damp, but it's not saturated with water. And it's almost the motion I would perform if I was giving myself a facial. I am just scooping and massaging along this cheekbone here, right directly into my hairline. So tracing right along the bone. And I'm not worried at all if this is getting in the hair. I want it to be right back in there. And I don't start as far forward, because I know as I begin to work and blend this product, it's going to creep farther forward on my face in towards the front of my cheek. And it's also going to have a tendency to want to creep down. So placing it as high up as I'm comfortable placing it, which is literally tucked right up underneath the bone itself, gives me that space where if it's naturally going to drop down a little bit, it won't be too far down, because I don't want it dragging and sagging my face down. I want to create that very lifted look. So right up into the sideburn and tucked up into my hairline. Then I will take whatever the excess is and begin to kind of work into the top of my forehead here. I will come back and add more product, but just because some's on here right now. And blending that, again, right into the hairline itself because I want it to be a believable, very natural shadow. And if I stop there and there's a tiny bit of a gap, it becomes very apparent that that's not naturally occurring. Then I'm going to take, again, my Real Technique sponge that I used to apply my foundation, and with the tip of this sponge pointed back towards my hairline, I am going to gently press, and you can see me smooshing my cheek up, pushing right back up in the direction of my hairline with a patting motion to pat and blend this in. And you can see where I'm creating a very natural looking shadow effect. So I don't want to wipe with this because I don't want to displace the product that's underneath or wipe this essentially cream contour that I've placed away, but I want to meld it into my skin and make it look like a believable shadow. And I'm essentially sculpting in a cheekbone. You can see how that becomes very snatched looking. When in doubt, fake it out. It's all smoke and mirrors. All right. And then one of the things that I used to work cleanly as I'm doing this, it'll be helpful to show you, is I actually keep my sponges in these little Turkish tea glasses. It works out really good. Then I'm not setting them down on the table where I'm working and they're getting dirty. And they always stay really clean. I store them in these so that after I've washed them, I just wash this right out as I'm washing my sponges when I'm done applying my makeup. And they go right back in, and it acts as a really convenient, kind of cute way to store them. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them in your local Middle Eastern shops, but it works really, really good. I used to store them in baby food jars as a way to set them, but this looks prettier on my vanity table. So pro tip there. Going back up to my forehead, I'm gonna put a dot on either, well, probably two, down towards the temple a little lower. So 2 dots on either side. And then taking that paddle-shaped foundation brush, I'm gonna begin to buff this in. Right the way down towards the temple, so connecting down into where I had blended that other contour up, if you will. Taking that, pointing that point towards the center of my face and gently pouncing that up towards my hairline to blend. The goal being that this is as seamless as possible. I want it to look naturally occurring. All right, and the part that we're all curious about, lifting that jawline. So I'm gonna turn on the angle here, find my little friend. There we go, there you are, friend. Right underneath. Same thing right here. And I don't have to go crazy and sweep that product all the way back. There is enough place there. I can take a tiny bit here and go in towards the center on either side of this fabulous little gentle hanging wattle bit there. And I'll show you, the blending is the secret to the sauce, always. So I am going to begin to, I am underneath my jaw. There will be enough that gently creeps up the side here to shadow out and create that beautiful chiseled line that I'm looking to create, without purposely coming up high where you're gonna see that line of demarcation. So trying to stay on the underneath and gently short strokes, like 1.5 inch, 2 inch strokes as I work back. And then do the lift and show. I'm gonna go towards, coming downwards towards the center. And I'm not gonna leave racing stripes here. When I blend this all out, the magic will happen. In that second blend. So short little strokes coming back. And then down the center, kind of down that tendon there. Back with my blending sponge. The point's gonna go towards the back. You see, like magic. Who dat? Okay, now that we've worked all this magic, I need an insurance policy on it. And there is nothing that I have found that's better than the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And it smells like heaven. So, packaging is new. I have my old standby on hand. I do have the new All-Star palette. It's fabulous, go get it. But right now I just have the tried and true trusty butter bronzer. And I apply this with an angled brush to set this in. Light and easy does it, but when in doubt, blend it out. I will. I load my brush on the sides of the brush. So I'm going for the angled edge. Some will go to the middle, it's fine. I've already got quite a bit on there. But as I load, I'm looking to take the edge of the brush itself and run it along the compact. Run it out, tap it out. Now, the point of the brush goes towards my lips, and then it's gonna carry towards my hairline. And I am lightly tracing over everywhere I put in the work. The goal being not so much to enhance the work I've already done, because I'm really happy with the subtle contour that I've built, but more to set it in place. But who doesn't like a little subtle enhancement, you know? Look at that subtle, soft snatch. The sharpness of the jawline that was created with that drugstore cream contour that we created with Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the Deep and the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It is so natural, but it creates such a lovely sculpted effect, but this really is a very luxe, very enhanced look with just a couple of tricks. So definitely try these at home. Tag me, #MamaMordo. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed creating this for you. Give it a try, and I look forward to joining you in studio next week. Thanks so much for joining. See you soon.